they knew about this and they purposefully tried to lie about it. And unfortunately, it's hard to beat hundreds of millions of dollars of disinformation.
Hi. Drop down the camera in snow. I'm Bjarne Salen. God morgon. That means good morning in Swedish. For over 15 years, I traveled the world creating action sports films and documentaries. If there was a competition who looked most like a shit show, I think I win. Whoop whoop. Well, team, what's the plan here?
Okay, we're clear for takeoff.
But along the way, I realized something was missing. Shall we?
We shall.
A deeper connection with the people in front of the camera.
I mean, generally, I just tell people to harden the fuck up, you know?
In this series, I spend a full day following my guests in their everyday life.
The buff shed.
Helps the old skier knees.
And we end the day with a Swedish fika. What do you know about fika so far?
That it's a moment to reflect, spending time with people, just talking.
Have a cup of coffee.
That is the most Swedish thing ever.
I'm Bjarne Salen, and this is Fika with Bjarne. Today's guest is skier, mountaineer, endurance athlete, and climate activist Caroline Gleich.
Hello, Utah!
Who spent her life chasing wild lions in the backcountry, fighting for public lands, and using her voice to protect the planet.
I ran for United States Senate. And it was honestly one of the scariest things that I've ever done, which says a lot because I've climbed the highest mountains in the world and I've skied the steepest mountains here in the Wasatch.
Today, we put the skis aside to get to know who Caroline really is. Can I sit like this?
You can sit however you want.
No,
Bjarne.
you're the pro. Come on, tell me.
I'm not the pro.
You are the professional here.
I've been instructed.
And you've been instructed about. And yes, my friends, we are having a Swedish fika.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch you make bread.
Oh, that's fun.
I definitely do more of the dishes.
What? She loves to eat breakfast and lunch, and she thinks that dishes are only to be done at night, at like right before dinner or something. I don't understand it, but that's the way it is, so.
You've been a professional skier for many, many years.
Yeah.
How did you actually get into that?
Well, when I was growing up, I would ski with my family on vacation, and we'd come out to Utah from Minnesota, and I just always fell in love with skiing. It was like every day at school, I would count down the days until I would get to go on a ski vacation with my family. But a lot of my inspiration from the big mountains came from my half-brother. My half-brother was kind of a mountain mentor to me and taught me how to tie a figure-8 knot, and we would go on these backpacking trips in the summer. And when I was 15, he was killed in an avalanche in Big Cottonwood Canyon. I think that he had showed me this life of climbing mountains, and it showed me what I really wanted to be. It allowed me to develop my mountain sense and to put a lot of hours into studying snow safety. And I think it gave me a really good foundation for approaching risk management and managing avalanche risk and danger, which, as you know, is a huge problem for ski mountaineers.
It's something we deal with all the time.
Yeah.
It's horrible what happened, but you also got an understanding of it, and you had to learn a lot, and that kind of set up your path for being a professional ski mountaineer, basically.
Yeah, and so like shortly after I moved to Utah, I remember picking up a copy of this book, The Shooting Gallery, which was like this quirky little guidebook that described these. Some of them, I was like, is that even a ski line, you know? But one of the lines in the book was Stairs Gulch, where my half-brother had been killed. But there was something about that book that called to me, and so it was over 10 or 15 years that I built my skills to try to ski more of the lines in that book.
And how did that go?
I mean, from when I did the 3-star lines to finishing, it was 5 years long of working on the project, and there's about 90 lines in the book, so.
So that's like a big achievement to do that. What, in your ski mountaineer, what's the biggest achievement you have done? Not just ski mountaineering, let's say mountains. What's the biggest achievements you have accomplished?
I mean,
do you have many? I know it's not easy, but do you have anything like top 1, 2, 3?
The biggest achievement to me, I just think, is the confidence that I've found through the mountains. It's like, I mean, again, like think that the lessons the mountains have taught me about finding my voice and finding my own leadership, you know, and being able to make decisions for myself and my team, I think that's the biggest achievement, is the life lessons it's given me and how it's helped me find my voice in so many other ways. So I don't like to think of it. I mean, I still also hope that my greatest achievements are yet to come, because people are always like, what's your favorite mountain? And I'm like, the next one that I'm going to do. You have to always be looking forward to it and embracing the world with that kind of curiosity. Okay, great.
We do a really random coffee that most people probably would think is super weird. We have cold coffee, but then we do this kind of more random thing where we add bubbly water to our coffee.
We make coffee soda.
Coffee soda for the morning, for the win.
With whipped cream, homemade whipped cream. Do you want to do your workouts while I do my workouts?
I'll probably do my next
Okay.
neck and arm stretching.
One of my favorite projects I did was doing like the Everesting on skis, where I did 31,000 vertical
yeah,
feet in
I
a
remember
day.
that one.
And I raised
Yeah.
$15,000
Yeah.
for Utah Clean Energy. So that was really meaningful to me. And I like those kinds of things too, where you get really focused on the numbers, because it's like, no matter how many times, how many years you've run 1,000 miles in a year, the act of running a single mile is always the same. And so I really try to fall in love with the process.
This probably makes for really good TV right here.
Speaking about Mount Everest,
Yeah.
I know you have been there,
Yes.
which is pretty cool, the highest mountain on the planet.
Yep.
You went there with your husband.
Yep.
And why did you go there,
Yeah.
first of all? And like, how was it?
It was really good. As we were getting ready and organizing, and I was working really hard to do all these speaking gigs and work with all these sponsor projects to try to put the money together for Everest, because it wasn't that easy to get the money together. Like, it's a lot of money.
How much does it cost?
I mean, it depends on how you climb it. And if you do oxygen, or it's a range from probably in 26, it's probably 50,000 at the minimum, 40, 50,000. I mean, I'm sure you could find a way without oxygen. I don't know. The permit's expensive alone. And it's probably up to 120,000 depending on all the,
Okay, yeah.
it's
all right.
It's a lot of money.
It's not just a vacation somewhere.
No, it's a major, I mean, just like wiring that money is scary.
So what happened to you just before Everest?
So the day after we wire transferred our final non-transferable, non-refundable payment, I was on a ski chute at sunset, dropping into a line that I've skied many times before. But as I went to make this first high-speed turn, the snow under my feet, it was like wind affected or something, and I caught my edge and I started to tumble down this really steep slope, and I just kept going, cartwheeling head over heels. And on the third rotation, my left knee got caught behind my ski got caught behind me, and I felt and heard my knee pop. And I knew instantly that I had fully torn my ACL. And then the next day I had an MRI to confirm it. And so that was really stressful. And it was like a very dark moment in my life, because I thought that I would have to repay the sponsor money and that I wouldn't be able to go on the trip. But after talking with some doctors and our team, they were like, it might be possible for you still to climb without your ACL.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Which was like mind-blowing to me, because my knee was like a massive balloon of fluid and like I could hardly walk. But as the swelling went down, I started to really focus on, because I did not have trip insurance and it was non-transferable. So it's like, I'm either gonna go or I'm gonna forfeit that money. And so then I got really focused on, how can I do this and how can I do it safely? Descending without my ACL is what I was worried about the most. There's some steep steps on the north side that you have to down climb in crampons in like massive boots. And I was really worried about this one step. So I asked Rob to spot me like right off the summit. And my ice axe caught the side of his suit and ripped a big hole. So then for the next like 12 hours, feathers were spilling out of his jacket the whole way down.
Well, that's pretty cool that you guys did it together as well. I love that.
I mean, there's no one I would want to spend 40 days in a tent with. I mean, there's not that many people. It's a short list.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no one I would rather spend 40 days in a tent with. Let's say it that way.
It's like any team, right? Like if I need help, she picks up the slack and vice versa. I don't know. I don't. What's it?
Luckily, we don't both get super busy at the same time. Rob is going to become the first person to climb the 7 summits and swim the Ocean 7, which are these collection of 7 iconic channel crossings in the world. So it's a really cool project.
Caroline supports me when I do that, and then hopefully I can support her on some of her
You
projects.
supported me on a lot of my projects.
I know, but it's time for me to support you again.
It is time. And my campaign doesn't count as support.
Yeah, well, how does that not count?
That's not a project, that's civic duty, okay? That was not elected.
Hi, Bjarne Allen here. I am sorry to interrupt, but I'm just asking for a favor to do 3 things. Number 1, like this video. Number 2, subscribe to this video. And number 3, I would love if you could send this to at least one friend who would benefit from that. And yeah, let's get back to Fika. It's kind of cold, isn't it?
It's freezing. Are your hands gonna be okay?
It'll be fine.
Okay. I feel trapped if I don't move. So it's really nice, and I'm really grateful that I've been able to make a career out of moving my body.
What inspired your decision to take a bigger role in public advocacy?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things leading up to it. I think the most simple one is kind of going back to my upbringing and that moment as a young person when my half-brother was killed in an avalanche, and wanting to get into the bigger mountains, but being deeply afraid of the worst case scenario and the effects that would have on my family and those around me. And so for me, running for office was a risk management strategy.
When you filed for this and decided to choose this path of politics, what happened to your outdoor sponsors? Because you've been a professional skier for a long time. How did they feel, or what did they do when you decided to take this new path?
Well, I was really surprised at how many brands discontinued, terminated their contracts with me.
What do you mean? They
fired
you?
me, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you decided to go into politics?
Because I decided to run for office. So that was really challenging to lose. Like, I had worked for 20 years to build my career as a professional skier, and then to lose 6 figures of income. It was really hard running for office. And even in the year after, it's been really difficult to rebuild my business and my brand. Okay, top of PC Hill. We did it, our summit.
Nice.
Good job. Sit. Yes. Okay, you can have a treat too. You did a good job. I don't really like thinking of myself as a politician. Like, I know that sounds cliche, but to me, it was about trying to do everything I could to advocate for our home planet, for social and environmental justice, and to bring a spirit of care to my state and to my country. Like, I did it because I care a lot, but I hate politics. Like, I'm a horrible politician. I'm good at policy.
But what do you need to be good at to be good at politics?
To be good at politics, you need to be good at relationship building, and you have to get people to be on board for your ideas. I mean, leadership is something I can do, but politics is this particular kind of power play, like a game of chess. And that's the part that is more tricky for me, that I'm not that good at, because I'm a straight shooter and I say what I feel and what I want, and I'm not always good at playing political games.
But isn't that what people want though, when they believe in someone? I want to vote for this person because they are honest and they are straightforward. But it feels like politics is so much bullshit sometimes. They say so much lies and this and that.
Dirty. It is a dirty, dirty game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much corruption in politics. When I was getting ready to graduate from college, I did an internship for the governor of Utah's environmental advisor, because I saw the air pollution in Salt Lake and all the effects of mining and the fossil fuel extraction, and I wanted to do something about it. So I worked there for the environmental advisor to the governor, and I was like hopeful I could make a difference in bringing more renewable energy to the grid in Utah. But at the end of my internship, the governor came out with his 10-year energy plan for the state of Utah, and it was dominated by coal and fossil fuels, like 80 or 90% coal. And I was so bummed. And I was like working hard in my cubicle. And that afternoon, this big gift basket came to the office with these beautiful edible sugar cookies. And they were from the Friends of the Coal Industry. And they said, "I heart coal." And I was hungry and tired. And I took one of those cookies back to my cubicle and ate it. And I was like, I have to pick a different path than this to make a difference.
Why do so many people, specifically in this country, make climate political?
I don't think it's necessarily that people have made climate political. I think that it is the result of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of disinformation campaigns from the fossil fuel industry.
Like what?
So, I mean, the fossil fuel industry hired the same PR firms that the smoking industry, the cigarette and tobacco companies did, where they were trying to convince people that smoking didn't cause cancer. And it's the same thing that's happened in fossil fuel companies. Hundreds of millions of dollars have been spent to distort, deflect, and to spread misinformation about the causes and the effects of climate change. And these companies, Exxon, they knew about this and they purposefully tried to lie about it. And unfortunately, it's hard to beat hundreds of millions of dollars of disinformation.
So it comes down to money?
Money and control. Because when you're connected to the grid and your car runs on gas, and these monopolies, they can control you and they can set the prices and they can kind of do what they want. But what I really feel like clean energy offers is freedom and independence. There's a lot of this disinformation and misinformation and these distortion and deflection campaigns that have gone on for decades. And they work. Sad, like if you get the right PR firms and you have enough money and you put enough into advertising, they really work, and they've really confused a lot of the truth and the reality and the scientific consensus on the climate crisis. The goal is 7 miles. Just easy pace. Trying to get to 1,000 miles for the year. I got really into running in 2017, and then one summer after I finished a particularly hot, dry, high-altitude mountain marathon, I posted a photo of myself at the finish, and this guy left a comment on the photo, which was a proud moment for me, and he said, "I'm just curious how you managed to run so much and keep so much weight on." It made me to really take a beat, to confront the bias and to unpack like what he said and to do a longer post about it. And so I posted a bunch of photos of myself showing what my body looks like and say, this is what an athlete looks like. And I celebrate my body for what it can do. It's not about looking a particular way. And I'm actually better when I eat more, when I let my belly expand so I take a full breath, instead of trying to hold it in all the time. And I think it really resonated with a lot of people. I think my best work comes from those kinds of negative comments to find a turnaround or to confront that kind of distorted thinking.
You've been dealing with a lot of online harassment from different people. And what have people told you?
I still get a lot of very hateful comments online.
You still?
Oh yeah, all the time, especially running for office last year. The constant stream of hateful vitriol and, bordering on criminal cyber harassment. Like some of the things that are said to me are so gnarly.
Like, what are they saying?
Some of them are really sexual, like, you work better as a hoe than a senator. Stick to skiing and taking off your clothes. So yeah, I don't think that is normal or anything like we should come to accept as a society.
No.
And people who say, haters gonna hate, that's to me like saying boys are gonna be boys. And it's like, that's not an excuse. And so another thing I recently found in my studies about this is this acronym called DARVO, stands for deny, attack, and then reverse victim and offender. And so when I shared this most recent interaction with this guy who was saying all this stuff that I found in these hidden messages on Instagram, and it had been going on for like 8 months. So I shared his photo and his comments, and all these people were like, well, why didn't you just block him? And that is DARVO, because that is blaming the victim for the perpetrator's actions. It's like, no, that's not the right response, because they were in my hidden folder. Like, I shouldn't have to explain myself. Why don't you ask him why he sent the comments and why he continued to send them? And then after the internet did what the internet does, they found out who he was and started to contact his business and leave 1-star reviews, and all these things really escalated. He blamed me for ruining his life. And again, that's DARVO, because it's reversing victim and offender. All of a sudden, he's the victim. But the reality is that Jason ruined Jason's life. That was Jason. He ruined his own life.
Why do you think you getting so much harassment online? Why specifically you?
And this is a question I've received from other people before, and I hate this question.
So I'm sorry to ask you
I
that.
know, and I told you not to, but then I was like, no, I do want you to ask me, Bjarne, because
Okay, good.
there's like a whole thread on Reddit that's like, why all the Caroline Gleich hate? And I've read through it before, but I don't think that's the right question. I think you need to go to the haters and ask them, why do they hate on me? Because it's not my fault that I get the hate. Like, I'm the victim of the hate, but it's the perpetrators doing the hating that you need to ask why they are filled with so much hate. So, because I realize that they're just miserable people, mostly men, who have unfulfilled dreams and are living a life of quiet resentment. And to me, that's like the saddest thing in the world to think about. Because I feel really lucky I've been able to make this career. It hasn't been easy, you know, there's been a lot of challenges, but I do feel super grateful I've been able to have this ride for the last 2 decades. And I just think about the people that aren't able to chase their dreams because they didn't believe in themselves, or they didn't, I don't know exactly why they haven't done the things they want to do. But I think that's one of the saddest things in the world.
How far have we been running, and what are we doing after this?
7.3 miles, woohoo! We got our goal for the day. I know that even the small things we do have a big impact. And you might not know exactly the impact of the actions you take as an activist right away. Sometimes it takes years or decades. And so it can be, you know, sometimes hard and lonely or challenging, or it takes time, and I acknowledge that not everyone has the time and resources to engage fully, but even every little bit you can do makes a difference. And after this, we're gonna go have a fika. I can't wait.
Yeah, Swedish fika.
Swedish fika, yes. Cool. I'm used to being the underdog, and I'm used to having like a very statistically low probability of success and defying the odds. And I don't really see my failures, whether politically or in the mountains, as a loss. I see them as growth. I mean, of course there's moments throughout the process where you feel sadness and grief, but I think the things that you try that are ambitious and you fail safely, those are where you experience the most growth. Oh yeah, we have to have a cookie now.
Yeah, we gotta have a cookie. Let's have a cookie.
So tell me about these cookies.
Whew, it's a long story. Are you ready for part 2?
These Swedish cookies.
Yeah, they are gingerbread cookies,
Okay.
straight from IKEA, because I was there 2 days ago.
Bjarne, we heard that you took a little visit to IKEA.
I've been in the States for 10 years. Every time I get homesick, I try to go to an IKEA.
That's so important to have that.
It's really nice to go there and you can read the Swedish words, and you have like the Swedish delicacies, like all these kind of things, you know. I know, it's true.
It's so cute. Caroline Gleich here, and if you enjoyed this Fika with Bjarne, please comment, share, and subscribe.
That was great. We got the dog out there.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Lila, come here. Come here, girl.
Thank you. Bring it in. Bring it in. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This was so fun.
I
I'm
enjoyed
so
that.
grateful.
Yeah, me too.